Seth and GM here with yet another opinion about using generative AI in tabletop role-playing game products. I know, what a boring subject for some of you. If you don't want to listen to this, there's lots of great funny videos out there, and this is not particularly funny. So anyway, to discuss this, I don't want to discuss the ethics right now of using generative AI in tabletop role-playing game products. I just want to focus on the business aspect of it just for a second. For those of you who are looking to publish tabletop role-playing game products, you should know that there's a large section of the community that refuses to purchase, that refuses to promote, and that refuses to work with people who use generative AI in their tabletop role-playing game products, whether they're using it to replace writing or to replace art. And you should know that when you jump into this market, that there is somewhat of a divide. So if you choose to use generative AI in your product to replace writing or replace art, then you are closing yourself off to a big section of that market. And if that's okay with you, that's perfectly fine, right? You can do what you wish to do with your business. That is your choice. Me personally, I know that if I write it myself and if I use either my own art or I ask somebody to do some art for me and pay them, or or beg them with favors, or if I use stock art or Creative Commons, that both sides of this debate will still have a chance to purchase it, because I'm not doing anything that ticks off really either side, right? And I find that keeping my market as open as possible in terms of what I'm trying to sell is probably a better business decision for me, because I don't want to close myself off to those kinds of markets. And there are very few people out there who are saying, if there's no AI art, I would not, generative AI art writing. If there's no generative AI art writing, I will not purchase it. I can think, like, maybe there's probably some editor that'll show up in a comment section and say that, but I don't actually think they believe that, right? Anyway, and I know there are people who are trying to trick us and trying to say, some of this generative writing and generative art is getting better, and there's this urge to try to trick people. But I just want you to know, people are pretty crafty. They'll eventually catch on, and when they do, there will be a backlash, right? It's not worth lying about it. It's not worth obscuring it, because eventually you're just going to be proven as a business owner who lies to people, and eventually you're going to end up having a lawsuit if your business does good enough. So, don't lie to your customers, right? Anyway, like, you can, my personal opinion is that a better business decision to keep all markets involved, or to be able to touch the most amount of markets, is to not use generative AI in place of your writing and in place of your art. I think you're just shooting yourself in the foot on that in that particular space, and that's my 2 cents. Okay, so anyway, all right, have a good day. Catch you later. Bye.